This is the Hypno Duo. I'm Rob the Hypnotist.
I'm Mengjia.
And we're here together in our new studio. And we wanted to share something rather personal today. I will have a surgery in more or less of a week. That's something that personally I was really scared about. For all my life, I was incredibly scared about blood, needles, surgeries. Even stepping into a hospital for me was an anxiety experience. And that's something that we did work, both of us, during our training in hypnosis, because that's the place where we met. We brought ourselves, with the tool of hypnosis, back to the moment of my surgery, but she also had a very important surgery herself. So Mengjia, why don't we begin? If you want to say something about the training itself, or would you like to jump straight into the regression?
Yeah, I'm happy to start by explaining a bit about the training that we did together. Roberta and I met in the training of becoming a hypnotherapist. Personally, going into the training wasn't really to become a therapist myself, but that kind of became the significant turning point in my career because I really experienced how much power that hypnosis can bring into transforming our lives. So the training itself was quite practical. All the knowledge that we are learning during the training, you will basically get to practice on each other. And so that really a lot. It's kind of fun to mention that the Training Institute really did the research and found out that actually a lot of people who were in this training experienced much less anxiety. Mm-hmm. They sleep a lot better. So even though it is quite a packed training, very intense, but I have to say I was never in the space where I would be scared of taking any exams, and everything kind of just flowed naturally for me. So back to the practical parts, we had a moment in the training where our trainer mentioned there was a case in the past where a lady had surgery, and afterwards she was experiencing a lot of pain and nobody really understood what really happened because it was actually a successful surgery. But by going back using regression to the moment of her surgery, what was found out is that she actually heard
she heard the surgeon, yes.
The surgeon told her that, wow, this woman will never be the same again. But it was actually meaning to look at how successful this surgery is. It can change her so much. So it was actually a positive message. But the funny thing is that our subconscious mind never really interprets things. It just takes things very literal.
And really brings you anxiety because what do you mean I'm not going to be the same?
So basically after we heard this little real life example, our mind just kind of left the classroom at the time. We're really curious about what actually happened in our surgery, because knowing that your subconscious mind is kind of always observing even when you are actually in sleep, or in our case in anesthesia's full body. Also a little moment that happened later in the training is that I found out that I was super sensitive to pain. I was really holding on to the concept of pain because the condition that I have was that the pain that is producing is kind of a way for me to get more engaged with. It's like monitoring how I am progressing. So pain for me is not really a bad thing, but what really happened in the training is that when we were actually going into a very deep state of hypnosis, which we call the SDL state, where your body is producing the natural anesthesias, that you are losing the senses of pain or any discomfort, you enter this very comfortable state. And I couldn't go there. So with all the practical things, and I even asked the classmates to do it on me for 2-3 times, I still couldn't go there. And he even tried to pinch a little bit with a surgical tool that we had at the time. The moment I heard the
click, I remember.
I was in instant shock. So that's why we decided to do this little experiment to kind of like trick my mind a little bit. So Roberta volunteered to do that session with me. Our trainer at the time, she recommended to do
a regression to a happy place.
Yeah, just to trick my mind not to think about it, because I know that I wanted to go there so much, and which kind of probably will hinder the process. So we went into a happy place first and then did what we call regression to cause. So really going to a very specific time.
We go back in time to the specific point in which a traumatic experience happened. And we call that the first sensitizing event. If that event was particularly big, you could have the same feeling to a trigger that is similar to the first one. So that's why we call it regression to cause.
We were both worried about what it would trigger us, being there for each other, but also worried about like if you see the other person is panic, at least that's what I experienced. Like I was a bit worried about if I already see you panicking or in pain, how is that going to affect me?
I haven't had that. I knew in a way that was going to be a good experience, also because trainer was there, Ayla was there with us.
It's not that I worried about what's going to come out of it, but more that is what I experience here, because later I'm going to go into the regression myself.
Okay.
You know, we were not really professional yet, like we hasn't even finished the training and not even certified. But the process kind of worked for us naturally, because when you are really in the therapist chair, and even though you are having the same experience, that kind of traumatized you in the past, but when you are in the therapist chair, you automatically tune into the role that you are there for the client 100%.
It does come rather easy, I have to say.
Yeah, so sometimes we might have this moment where you encounter a client that have the same experience that you do, that might trigger something in you, but when you are in that role, you are being present 100%. You kind of block out these things that you are kind of therapizing yourself, because you know your role at the moment is just to be there for your client.
That's precisely how I felt during that regression, honestly. Because although I knew where I was going, because I was going to a place that was inherently scary for me, and honestly I was afraid of it, but I also had the curiosity to see what could come out of it. So although I was fear in that moment, I had an opening, okay, let's see really how can this help us. And the motivation was there.
For sure,
And when we went directly into the regression, for me it was a beautiful feeling, because my rational mind was thinking, okay, I'm going back to a place that for me was traumatic. Hospital, on the surgery table, the big lights in front of you. When I had surgery myself, the room was full of people, because there was like the surgeon, the anesthesiologist, students learning, because they made my surgery a case study, because it was quite particular. So I was, as I said, afraid, but also curious and motivated. And in the moment during the regression in which I was literally back in time, lie down on that table, I thought it could have been like a scary experience, but it was the opposite. It was literally the opposite. And we do have some set of questions that we normally ask during a regression to describe your environment, to see what do you see or feel, or if you have some intuitive knowledge about the situation. Although I was completely under total anesthesia, and I was of course unconscious, but my mind registered what went on in the room. And for me it was almost liberating, because I was scared maybe of even the doctor, maybe he said something that traumatized. While in reality, the feeling that I had is that the surgeon was there to do his job. And he did also a good job, if you ask me. And he was literally teaching his students. So I wasn't even
It's not really about you personally, but it's just your case.
It's just my case. And something happened also during the surgery, because something did go wrong, and I had to extend the time for about, I don't remember, it was 2-3 hours or something like that, I don't remember. It lasted 11 hours in total, so it was quite lengthy. And I was also scary about that part specifically, because I thought, okay, something did go wrong, so okay, if I have to have surgery another time, I will think about that thing, oh, something can actually go wrong. But in that very moment, the feeling that I had is that the surgeon just said, okay, something that can happen, it's still part of my job, I'm trained for it, and he fixed it. And as of today, I'm completely healthy, which is a good thing.
Yeah. I think that's probably where our concerns were coming from after hearing the lady's story in our training. For me, it was like, when you watch all those series where things start going wrong and everyone's panicking.
In the ER, oh no,
Yeah.
oh my God, give me this. Yeah.
Yeah, so in the operation room that there can be a lot of chaos, and I think that was the image that came into my mind. My surgery also got extended 3 times, so of course it was a much simpler surgery, supposed just to take an hour, and it took 3. A lot of blood loss too. So afterwards I did have another follow-up appointment with the doctor like a month post-surgery, and she explained everything about what she did and the complications. I think because of all those explanations, I started probably creating a picture in my mind of did something really happen over there. So it was a very special experience to be able to kind of have another chance to go back to the source of truth and then experience it all over again. And that the regression experience was kind of similar to yours. It was pretty much a routine day for the doctors. So like you said, in the session we will be asking some questions just to get more information of what the client is experiencing. So we will be paying more attention to the sounds that we hear, things that we see. I have to say I'm not a very visual person. I do feel more the atmosphere. So I didn't see clearly of how everybody looked like anymore, and plus they're all wearing the mask and fully suit up. There wasn't really so much to see, but it's more the atmosphere that it was so quiet and so peaceful. I do hear the surgical tools, so which might be the thing that what triggered me when I hear the sound.
Yeah.
It started to explain it on itself, but it gave me so much security, or the safe feeling of
a normal day on the job.
Yeah, because when I think back, I always feel like that was a very traumatic event in my life. But knowing that you now have a chance to go back to re-experience, and knowing that nothing really happened, and that brings so much comfort.
It could sound counterintuitive for some people because, okay, I had in the past a traumatic experience. Why do I want to revisit it?
Yeah.
Well, the reason is, with the rational mind that you have right now, because you've grown from your past, you can go back and really shine a new light on the whole situation or issue or accident or trauma, whatever it is. So you can, from a position of power, look down at what happened and see how menial really was. Because the source of anxiety for me, hospital, doctors, blood, while in reality, for the surgeon was just another Tuesday. Literally.
Yeah. But that was really a good moment for me to understand how hypnosis can really reshape your life and really just transform you into a total different person. And I think that was something we really witnessed in person, because when we come out of the chair, we just had a complete different facial expression. We look like a different person, and you just feel like so much lighter.
Yeah. Almost childlike in a way that I was really worried about that. It puts you into this empowered perspective that, looking back, I could have done so much better, no?
For sure. I always feel when you are in the hypnotic trance or in your subconscious, that in your subconscious it holds all the long-term memory, your emotions. So that's why we always kind of see it as a source of truth. Because sometimes with our logical thinking that we are analyzing things, we're trying to make sense out of everything. But when you tune into the emotion, and that's actually how you feel. And I always make this example to the clients. Think about when you were a baby or a child, that a lot of times the sense of abandonment is actually developed when your parents have to put you to bed. And kids just don't understand, because you were having a very cozy moment first, and now you get put into a very dark
room by
all
yourself.
alone. Yeah. So I think that moment for me to go into the regression was just to see that there wasn't really so much trauma as I imagined it to be, because with my logical brain I was trying to analyze how can a simple surgery in my case could take 3 times longer, and they talk about how much blood that I lost. I mean, it's for a normal person who never had a surgery in her life before, it felt like a lot has happened. But if you put more in the surgeon's perspective, for them it's just a normal day, and then the blood infusion is what they do every single day. They might do hundreds of cases just in 1 week. So a lot of times when we are trying to rationalize our logical thinking, we kind of take ourselves out to a place that we shouldn't really go. And when you tune yourself back into your subconscious mind and to get in touch with your emotion again, it was kind of interesting to know, like, that's how I actually feel at the moment. I was in good hands. The whole feeling was very safe.
That you were taken care of.
Yeah.
Yes. That's precisely it.
Yeah.
This is really a testament that it goes to show. I want to tie to what you said just a few seconds ago. You were basically putting inside your mind all of these worries because it wasn't part of your normal consciousness. It wasn't part of your normal life, having a surgery. No, that there's a first time for everything.
Yeah.
But in reality, just moving the lens from another perspective, it's completely normal. It's just another day on the week. It really goes to show how powerful the suggestion we give ourselves. I also was re-traumatizing myself, thinking that that was a traumatic experience, while in reality, it really wasn't. And with this new perspective that I have now is what allow me to walk into this new surgery that I'm going to have next Tuesday, literally next Tuesday, with I'm not even thinking about it, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it because we're making this video, but I'm so relaxed. Of course, it's also a much smaller operation, but I still will be in complete total anesthesia for at least an hour. So, for some people, that's also already considered big.
Yeah.
From my point of view now, thanks to hypnosis and the regression that we had, it just normalized it for me. It's literally something that I have to do. I know that my recovery will be 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But after that, normal life will continue.
That's great. Yeah, it's a very self-empowering in a way. Going back in the part of regression, like how did we solve all these anxieties, you might wonder, actually was pretty simple. We are kind of giving the truth back to you and just let you be there and to observe it. So that's kind of the style that I am using in my own sessions. I always try not to put words in my clients' experience. I want them to be them themselves and kind of help them to rediscover that they have this ability all along. So when we are desensitizing that trauma for them, the such strong emotion, I am not there to tell them, you see, this is nothing to worry. I would never put my words into that, but it's more like allowing them to have this moment for themselves again. A lot of times we do a little bit of an inner child therapy where we bring in the adult self who already survived this moment and then back into the person at the time to have a conversation. So we are basically acting more as a guide.
Yeah, we are bridging your rational mind of the moment with the unconscious and subconscious fear related to the past or traumas, etc.
Yeah.
So you can see with a new light and just realize what it really was.
Yeah, that's true. And I think speaking a little bit of the proof of that it really worked for us. A couple of months back, I just watched a movie that talks exactly about the condition that I have. Of course, in a movie, they try to really
romanticize the whole
So really try to like kind of put you in the emotion of the person who are going through them. And I have to say, I didn't really feel that so strongly anymore. And I thought, it is a condition that you have to live with, which is totally fine. Funny enough, that movie also captured a moment where the lady was in the surgery, basically doing the same one that I have done. There is a procedure where because they have to make more space in your belly, what they did was to use a little balloon and then blow it up to make the space in the belly so that they can operate on it. Which is what we didn't work on in our session. So that sounds, the effect's still there for me. So when I heard it in the movie of this balloon being pumped, because it's such a particular sound, you don't hear it in your everyday life. So it was doing this pumping the air. I felt like I would right back on the surgery table again. I felt completely losing my power. My body just went numb in a powerless way. I have to say I wasn't really with any fear, but it's just more feeling the powerless, like being in full anesthesia where you cannot move anymore. You just lost the ability to really feel having any power or any strength in your body. But it's just so interesting to see, like, there are the things we work on in the session that it really got desensitized, that you just don't feel those emotions anymore, even when you counter it in the future. But there are the things maybe you didn't work on, and it's already like a counterproof that you know that is still there. But of course, a lot of times the emotion can be connected together, so when we are more focusing on one, the rest will kind of fall like dominoes, that it will just all solve on its own.
It can be the case unless the trigger is specifically strong, and probably in that case it was something that was so abnormal for you and so new that it couldn't have any other significance. That's the meaning for your unconscious, so you went directly back in time to that place.
But however, I don't have the fear, the anxiety anymore. It was just a little bridge that went back to the moment, but the emotion has kind of already been like desensitized.
It's always beautiful to think about how the mind is really so powerful, and something that I also have to thank hypnosis for, and I'm really glad that I've done this training. In a way, it changed and still is changing my life. The power really of hypnosis is that you can work on something. You can go into regression, or even if you don't do regression, but once you understand the tools that you can use and how efficient they really are, you have the drive, the willingness, the motivation, actually the curiosity to see, okay, I was able to fix this, what else can I fix, you know? Because if I really want to have a journey of growth, everybody has things to fix. And so for me it was actually a quest of finding more and more things to fix in my life. And I have to say that I'm extremely glad that I had that experience with you during the training for the regression, because something in my life that was so strong for me, like I was calling it fear of blood and needles, but it was much more broad than that. But if you can imagine, already blood and needles, you already cut out of the, even for a blood test, I was almost fainting. I actually did fainted multiple times during, even here in the Netherlands before the surgery. And the ladies working behind, some of them laughed at me, okay, because of course, like, you're a grown-up man and you're thinking, oh no, sorry, no. Nowadays I'm going there, I remove this, I look at the name, good morning, Brigitte, and they just do it. And it's just nothing nowadays. And to change something so strong that conditioned me for the majority of my life in how long was our regression?
30 minutes, I guess.
30 minutes? Yeah. So in 30 minutes, I had the opportunity to fix something that was haunting, that was like a ghost follow me everywhere in life. And now I don't have that anymore. And I feel so much lighter now that I think about it.
Yeah.
So this is also one of the reasons why we want to share these stories. It's not that you have to come specifically to us, but look around, look on the internet, find a hypnotherapist that can really help you. Because trust me, it will be worth it. Especially with regression, especially with traumatic experiences. Those kind of experiences that actually can act as a roadblock for your future development. That is something that hypnosis works really good for.
Yeah. So I think when I started like really getting to know about hypnosis as a method of therapy, I was still in this clinical setting where we are trying to target it to the specific symptoms. If you have fear of heights, or if you are trying to quit smoking, so you're always trying to target like
the specific
things. Yeah, but then the more that I was into it and seeing how much my life transitioned from there, I thought there's so much you can do with it, and not really putting yourself in a clinical thinking perspective. You can basically just open the door for so many things. I have seen colleagues who are specialized in, let's call it the creative blogs for people who are writing books. In another episode of our videos that we also talk about, there are now people specializing in helping people with sexuality. So never really consider what you're trying to solve as an issue, as something bad, something negative, because you can also just use it to help you go much further. Advance your career, or trying to create a new hobby, any new paths that you were kind of afraid of doing before. You try to do it, but you feel like there is something holding you back, and now you have this new possibility to explore. I actually started working as a hypnotherapist for like all those symptoms that we mentioned before. So people will come to you with, I have sleep problem, I have this problem, so everything is like problem. And of course, when people hear about therapy, it's kind of like the word is already tainted in a way.
Fixing problem.
Yeah, so it's like, I need to be fixed. So they are coming from this perspective, but while you have a tool that you can work with, it can help you with so many other things. So there might just be a complete unexplored area that you can now enter and have fun with it. It's just looking at how we have shifted our career. I was working with software companies and having actually quite a technical job, which really shaped my logical thinking. But now having something to help me tune into a more emotional side, and then to tune in to really understand and get in contact again with how our body and mind work. So to have that body and mind connection and really getting to know what really inspired me. So not going into the bigger picture of what my life purpose is, but at least doing the things that I feel really aligned with my emotions, how I feel. And that just put your career path in a total different direction that you didn't even think about. Because coming from a very academic background, we are always taught to look at your competencies. I remember going through my university and already have a career coach from day one. And we will be making like a huge portfolio of ourselves, and then really digging into what are you good at, what's your strengths and weakness. And in a way, of course, that really work and help you to find what is your niche and what makes you special. But on another hand, it's really pushing you into this corner that it becomes how you define yourself.
Yes.
And if I look back to my career right now and I see those were the mindset that shaped the last 10 years of who I am, because I started with, going through this whole framework, and I got to understand, okay, you are really good at doing this. So I became the specialist of that, and I was getting all the certificates that I need, so that basically my profile will catch the eyes of all the recruiters, and I was getting offers all over the place and never really worried about finding a job. And after certain years, I just felt like this became the only thing I'm good at, but who I am.
Hyper specialized.
Yeah, and that's actually when I decided to do my MBA, because I felt like if I only know this, how can I do any other work? And then going into my MBA became my own saving moment of trying to understand the broader perspective of how a business works. Which unfortunately leads to a burnout, where I was basically having all my energy spent all over the places. I also gave myself the chance to move into a role where I would really taking care of a whole department with all the tasks from A to Z. Instead of the past was just really specialized in this one part, and after my part is done, it passed on to the next department. I never need to worry about it anymore. So I intentionally changed myself into a role where I, from the first contact with the partners or with the customer, I really need to be highly focused on that. And even after the integration, the technical part is done, which is the main part of my work, I still need to take care of the relationship. I still need to work on the marketing to make sure that this integration gets more usage, helps with the retention of the software so that the clients will be using it for longer time. So I was dividing all my energy to this whole lifetime, this whole customer journey. So this shift also made me feel really exhausted. So I think there are a lot of you out there that are kind of going through your life. You choose a major because maybe that's what your family told you, or maybe that's what you found out that you're really good at. But the life lesson here is that everything kind of comes as a wave, and it's all fluent. So you're never staying in a fixed position. So we have gone through our parents' generation where they can work in the same position for 30, 40 years and just be good at that and never really to look above it. I actually had this conversation with a friend a while ago that we are really starting to notice a shift in how people see the value in their jobs and how is that changing their lives. And the younger generation now are actually more focused on how happy they feel in a job instead of the money, the more materialized things. But that's not because the money are not important anymore, but I think we kind of pass over the time where we are just trying to cover our basic needs. Because our parents at the time, they just really wanted to make sure that they have enough supply for the family and there's enough food on the table, so they don't have even the space to look over if they're actually happy at their job. If it's a stable job, they're happy to do it for 30, 40 years.
You have to consider what they have seen in their parents themselves, because our parents basically were the sons and daughters of people that lived through the war, through the Second World War, and it was quite global for everybody. And so they knew what life could have been in that frame. You need to sacrifice, you need to do this, you need to have a steady job, a steady income, etc., so you can build and do that. Then when we were born, we watched our parents. So why are we doing all of this and we don't have time instead to dedicate more to ourselves, our happiness, family, whatever it is? So the mindset is shifting, and with the new generations, who is 20 right now, it's a totally different mindset than 2 generations ago.
Yeah, for sure. So what I've started helping people with are to kind of look back again on how they are analyzing their strengths and weakness, because that's basically the reason they decided to to take certain job or to kind of put themselves into a box like that. And
Yeah.
now we're trying to think out of the box.
Yeah.
I could already feel from my own experience when I was trying to advance in my career, there started to have these two different paths where you are trying to be a more leadership kind of manager, or you are trying to be an individual contributor. And that's where I see myself more, because I am not a leader in the perspective like driving people. That's not where my strength is. But in a way, I think a lot of times when companies are trying to put this career path in front of you is to help you understand where you can grow. So the companies that are helping you with this framework, they are making the path clearer for you. However, it is also limiting you to specific paths that you have to follow this. There's no other ways you can explore, because the more focused you are going to excel better. But what we are trying to do here is that to kind of go back to your emotion and really to think about what makes you happy. And you will find out that the truth might be completely opposite of what you think. So in the past, I always strike people as I am the very shy person, so I wouldn't like to be the center of attention. And those might be a very good quality to have if you want to become a leader type of manager, where you need to stand in front of 20 people and to drive them, to give them motivational talk. However, when I go into my subconscious mind, it's not that I didn't really enjoy that. So that could also be an experience for you. Right now you feel like you are in this position because you feel like that's what makes you feel more comfortable. But having that level of comfort doesn't mean that's what you actually really want.
And sometimes comfort can keep you stuck for a long time. No, there's the old adage that as long as things are okay, that you can survive, you're not going to change. But when things really hit rock bottom, that's the moment in which you will be faced with a situation in which you will actually grow and take some steps in order to do so.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that many people in life, they will encounter a moment like this in which everything that they've done until that point, it was okay and was working, but all of that knowledge, all of that security and confidence was not applying for the issue at hand. And if I can bring my personal experience, for me it was cancer. When I knew that I got cancer, I received the letter at home, and I was reading it. I felt I was a strong man, a strong partner, the head of the family. I was in a dimension that I felt really confident and comfortable, that erased every single certainty that I had in life. And literally my life changed completely from that point on. But if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be sitting here on this chair. I would probably still be in the old life, doing a job that was not making me happy, doing things that were not really aligned with who I am right now. And who I am right now is giving me also the confidence to explore even more and see now how can I grow, no? How can I be even a better version of myself for the future? And I draw a lot of energy in also helping other people doing so.
Yeah.
Because for me it's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
When you see somebody having not specifically the haha moment, no? But when you can really see that somebody is overcoming something and they are starting to grasp that there is something more except the tight box that I was fitting for so long until to this day, no? There's so much more around.
Yeah.
And that's what hypnosis really helped me also.
Yeah, for sure. So coming back to where I watched that movie that talks about the exact condition that I have. where I heard the sound of the balloon being pumped in the surgery, that it just took me right back there. And after hearing Roberto was going to have the exact same surgery, I thought, I'm really curious how both of us are going to react. So for me, it's going through the same experience all over again, but witnessing it from another person. And for him, it's now a different type of surgery, but it's still having that level of uncertainty. We're just both very curious about the whole experience.
Yeah, the intention of this video is literally to show and put out there for everybody to see that even a person that was incredibly scared of even stepping inside an hospital, we're going also to make our next video in which I will literally be in the hospital. She will be filming because she will actually be accompanying me on that day for the surgery. I know I will be relaxed and I know it will be completely fine. And we just want to show this. We just want to, in a way, narrate this experience because I really do think that it could help some other people out there. You never know. So I think we reached the point of the video in which we say thank you for watching, like and subscribe. Makes you laugh.
Yeah. Please do.
And well, guys, see you at surgery. So the video about the surgery will be out in approximately a week from now. And well, let's see how it goes. If you want to follow along, just subscribe and let's hit that like button. Thank you very much, guys. See you next time.
Bye. Is there something else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. The video will be out probably on... Well, I have to edit it also.
Yeah, I don't know. Because then why are you talking about this?
So, in a week from now. So, the real surgery video? No, why did I do this? It's not quote unquote.
Should I look at there?
It's up to you.
Okay.